Okay, so the new year has started, as I'm sure you noticed, which means the old speed stick is now finished, which means we're going to be starting a fresh speed stick, which means now is the time to take a look at the results of the global speed stick leaderboard. Hello, yes, it's Joe here for Joyrider TV, and we're going to be taking a look at the global speed stick leaderboard. This leaderboard is now going to be archived, but still available to have a look at on the totaljoyrider.com website, and I'll be updating it yearly now with the new results that are coming in each year. So we'll have a yearly speed stick and then the all-time speed stick. All are available to have a look at. Just check out the link in the description below. So on the global speed stick, we had 149 entries, which I'm very pleased with. That's a lot of speed that we've had coming in over the year. And I think the most notable mention needs to go to Matthew in 149th on his Hobie Bravo with a speed of 9.7 knots, showing that the speed stick isn't just for the people hacking it across the lake with their hair on fire. Rather than going through the whole 149 positions, I'm just going to go through any changes or new entries since the last speed stick video, and then we'll hit the top 30 overall. So let's crack on. Kicking off in 146th, coming out of Svendborg, Denmark with a speed of 11.7, we have Rune on his Hobie T1. Then up to 138th, Lake Garda, Italy with a speed of 14.2. We've got Gianluca on a Topaz 14. Then sizzling it up slightly with 14.6 in Caorle, Italy. We have Ruggero and Mauro on an F18 Mattia. That's one of the original F18s from back in the day. Then, with a speed of 15 knots on Monzi, Austria, on a Hobie 16, we've got Christian and Marcus in 129th. In 126th, sailing on Svartvlei on the Garden Route, South Africa, with a speed of 15.17. Solo on a Hobie Tiger, we've got Photius. And then notching it up from last time with a speed of 15.2. In Halmstad, Sweden, on a Capricorn F18, we've got Isaac and Martin in 125th. With a speed of 15.38 in Hamilton Lake, Indiana, USA, sailing the Hobie 18 Magnum, we've got Bill. I don't know if Bill was solo on that occasion or if he was taking a friend. Then in 117th, sailing on the Gold Coast, Australia, 15.6 on the Hobie 14 Turbo was Adam and Marika. Definitely the fastest Hobie 14 2 up. I think solo might be quicker. Then we're going up to 109th for Bill, solo on a Hobie 16 in Point Harbor, North Carolina, USA, speed of 16.2. Just ahead with a speed of 16.2 on Kuntz Lake, Indiana, USA, we have Kevin on a J105. Then in 101, this is special in Minis Bay, Kent, UK, 16.5 knots for Martin, Monica and James on a Hobie 21 SE. That is a beast of a boat. Now we're in 96th, keeping it in the UK, Rye Bay, East Sussex, where we have the Dart 18 of Chris, Rhett and Josh with a speed of 16.7. Also with a speed of 16.7, this seems to be quite a popular speed. We've got on Bracciano Lake, Italy, the Hobie Tiger of Danielle and Fabiana. Then same speed, 16.7 in Radmansö, Sweden. On a Hobie 16, we've got Simon and Åsa. Then same speed, 16.7 in Alberta, Canada, Lake Wabamun. Solo on the 16 for Arno with the same speed, 16.7. That is an exclusive club. Back to Bracciano Lake in 89th for Luca and Danielle on a Hobie Tiger with 16.85. Notching it up to 85th, fresh in. We've got Breuk with a Hobie 14 in the Gulf of Morbihan, Brittany, France, 16.9 knots. Then we've got Bill again on his Hobie 18 Magnum, this time solo, so clearly not solo before, in 78th on Hamilton Lake, Indiana, USA, 17.38 knots. Also on 17.38 knots on Lake St. Clair, Canada, we've got Jeremy and Chris on the Hobie 16 in 77th. Then we're heading up to 70th with a Hobie 16 solo in Clear Lake, California, USA, 17.5 knots for Brian. That's a big speed solo. Doesn't matter what you're sailing, when you're on your own, getting towards 18 knots is really cooking the goose. You heard it here first. Then up to 56th for the next new entry for Felix and Joshua on the Dart 18 in Dint Strand, Denmark, with a speed of 18.25. Then we've got an even bigger solo Hobie 16 speed for Richard in 53rd with a speed of 18.3 on the Rockport Reservoir, Utah, USA. Rockapulco with a speed of 18.36 at La Antilla, Spain on a Nacra 5.0. We've got Abdul and Carlos in 52nd. Then just creeping ahead in 51st, we've got Russell and Ed on the F16 Viper with a speed of 18.4 knots. Then, with a speed of 18.62 in Poddersdorf, Austria, Lake Nordersel, on the Hobie Fox, we've got Lawrence and George in 48th position. So on a Prindle 19, who could it be? It could only be one guy. That's Chris and Carrie in Galveston Bay, Texas, with a speed of 18.77. Then just slightly ahead with a speed of 18.89 in South Africa, in Svartvlei on the Garden Route, sailing an FX1, we've got Michael in 45th. Then a notable mention here for Dave, solo on his Hobie 16, Lake Lanier, Georgia, 18.9. Notching it up. In Canada with a speed of 19 knots. This is quick for solo sailing on a 16. We've got Steve on Lake Huron, Ontario, speed of 19 knots. Also 19 knots, solo on a Hobie 16 in the Whitsundays, Australia. We've got Nick in 40th with 19.10 knots, Galveston Bay, Texas. We've got Scott on the Prindle 18.2 solo. That's a lot of boat for one guy, but I think Scott can do it. He's got the skills to pay the bills. Then in 36th, we've got Joris on a Hobie 16 solo in Bovenvliet, Netherlands. That's the Netherlands up there with a speed of 19.17. Then up in 34th, we've got Lee, who we've recently featured in Show Us Your Cat on the River Blackwater, UK, sailing out of Marconi on the Sprint 15 with a speed of 19.2. That is absolutely flying on the Sprint 15. And that was Kuba and Robert on an Inter 20 in Poland, let's just say, with a speed of 19.49. Then, with a speed of 19.6 in Lake Wendouree, Victoria, Australia, we've got Colin on his 14. Then, notching it up even more for the single-handers. We've got Julio on a Nacra 14, and I think SQ, which must mean square top mainsail, in Brisbane, Australia, with a speed of 19.9. Absolutely flying. That must have felt good. Pierre and Simon in 27th on a Hobie 16 in Brittany, France, with a speed of 20 knots. Then in 26th, we've got Timo and Lutz on a Nacra 570 sailing on the Baltic Sea, Germany. Absolutely cranking it there with a speed of 20.19. Notching it up for the fastest. I think it's the fastest. I'm pretty sure this is the top. Hobie 16 speed solo for Scott, Cultus Lake, Oregon, USA, 20.25 knots. Great stuff, Scott. We saw Scott in a recent show us your cat, hanging out the back of his 16. Great stuff. In 24th, we've got Chris and Lutz in Ammersee, Germany on the Hobie 16 with 20.9. In 23rd position, sailing a Tornado, yes, we've got Robert and Kuba in Poland on the unpronounceable lake with a speed of 20.97. Notching it up. In 21st, we've got Scott and Eames sailing on Cultus Lake, Oregon on the Hobie 16 with a speed of 21.38. Yes, we're getting fast here. Then we've got a speed for Vasiliki, Greece. Where is that place? On a Hobie 16 for Leah and Ernie with 21.6. It's the 21.6 club. Yeah, then notching it up, Lake Lanier, Georgia, 21.7 on the Hobie 16 for Steve and Nick Collins. Then also 21.7, we're heading to Maputo, Mozambique, where it could only be one guy, and that's Damien, sailing the Hobie Pearl. 16th, we've got Robert and Dave on the Nacra F18, Palm Beach, Florida, USA, with a speed of 21.72. Then we're notching it up more in 15th place for Tom and Arthur on the Hobie Fox. Lake Annecy, France, speed 21.8. We are getting quick now because we've just smashed 22 knots. In Rijeka, Croatia, sailing solo on an RS16, we've got Mikael in 14th. That is quick. Then in 13th, we've got Steve and Oscar sailing, you're not going to believe it, a monohull. Maybe you would believe it because they've been sat high up on the leaderboard for some time now. An RS 800 in Axmouth, South Devon, UK, speed 22.2. That must have been a wild ride. And then fresh in on this speed stick leaderboard with 22.2, sailing on the Ottawa River, Canada on a Nacra 570. We've got Tom and Simek on the Nacra 570 there in 12th. Then in 11th, just knocked out of the top 10. Ooh, that must hurt. We've got Adam and Stasek on a Hobie 16, sailing in Zerzi Lake, Warsaw, Poland, with a speed of 22.24. That is cranking. And then cranking it harder, 22.3, sailing in Mallorca, Spain. We've got a Hobie Fox with Oliver and Will. Fantastic. Great to see a Fox up there in the top 10. In 9th, sailing a Hobie 16, we've got Damien plus friend in Mozambique, Maputo, with a speed of 22.4. Also 22.4, sailing in the UK, Grafham Water, we have got on a foiling A-class, Julian in 8th. This is getting spicy now, I think you'll find. Then in 7th, we've got Koen and Roos, sailing a Nacra into 20 on Gravelingenmeer, Netherlands, speed 22.5. 23 knots. We're heading to New South Wales, Australia, to the Tweed Heads, where we've got the Hobie 16 sledder with Dave and Isaac in 6th. 23 knots. Oh yeah, who'd have thought it that that wouldn't be the top speed? Nobody could have seen that coming. Then, with a speed of 24.35, sailing right here in Vasiliki, Greece, we've got the fastest FX1 sailor on the planet. Dennis from Germany in 5th place, 24.35. How is that even possible? I don't know. Then in 4th place, we've got Johan and Matthias on a Nacra Infusion F18, sailing in Rappel Lake, Chile, South America, with a speed of 24.7. Great work, guys. Great to have Chile in the top 5. Fantastic. And then we've got the meaning of brown trousers in 3rd position with a speed of 25.1. In Alassio, Italy, we've got the Flying Dutchman. That is a vintage monohull. Used to be the Olympic class. Of Pietro and Fabio in 3rd. Oh my goodness gracious me. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That is cooking. Cooking it even more. We've got Bryce and Scott sailing the Prindle 18-2, Galveston Bay, Texas, USA, with a speed of 25.8, who were looking like they were going to be the all-time speed stick leaders in 2nd place. But no, they got done. They got done by Steve and Trey on the Hobie 16, sailing Cocoa Beach, Florida, USA, with a speed of 26 knots. And as far as I know, that is the fastest recorded speed for a Hobie 16 at any time, anywhere, any place. So big, massive congratulations to Speed and Trey for absolutely caning it and getting that top spot on the leaderboard. It hasn't been easy, I'm sure, but congratulations once again, Steve and Trey. Okay, so the Speed Stick has just relaunched, and I think it would not be right not to go through the whole of the 2021 Speed Stick so far. So let's dive in. We've had 4 entries on the Speed Stick, and in 4th place, absolutely cooking the goose, in Alexandria, Egypt, with a speed of 14.77. We've got Aziz on his Dart 16. Whoop, whoop. Then in 3rd position with a speed of 16.8 knots, Maputo, Mozambique. Who's it going to be? Yes, that's right. It's Damien and Nico on the Hobie Pearl. Whoop. Then in 2nd place, as it stands, with a speed of 18.33, sailing on Lake Run, Fallon, Sweden, on a Nacra 5.5, we've got Mikael, and Peter. That's just 2 people in 2nd place, and currently leading the 2021 Speed Stick all the way from New Zealand, from Littleton Harbour, with a speed of 20.2. On a Hobie 16, we've got Matt and Bobby. I think I can hear the champagne corks popping from here down in New Zealand right now. So well done, guys, for this exceptional run. Great stuff. So that's the 2021 Speed Stick as it stands. If you do want to get in, check out the instructions in the description below. It will tell you exactly what to do. But send me in your speed, tell me where you were sailing, who you were sailing with, what type of boat, and just on what might have been happening at times, and I have called a few people out for it, is if you've got a speed chart, like if you're running an app like Strava or something similar where it says what your speed is, and you've got like the chart of the little spikes, If it's like this all the time, and then there's a massive spike like this, or you've got spikes at the ends when you're perhaps launching and landing the boat, maybe you towed your boat to the lake behind your car, or if there's a spike in the middle but you don't recall going ridiculously faster than the rest of the run, this would be what would be known as a satellite glitch, and that speed would not be particularly accurate. Ideally, we would be taking speeds over 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, but I know not everybody's got the technology to do that. So please, when you're looking at your speed chart, if it does look like the speed it says is way higher than you thought it should be, please don't submit it, because I don't like having to call people out for, hold on, you were sailing an Optimist and you did 50 knots. I think that was when it was on the roof of Dad's car, possibly. Anyway, do keep them coming in. I'm looking forward to some great things on the upcoming speed stick season, which is upon us right now. The new speed stick, of course, is on the website, link in the description below. And other than that, get out there, send it, keep it safe. Make sure you're wearing a buoyancy aid, have a whistle. If it's really windy, I'd suggest putting on a helmet as well, because if you're going to be going over 23 knots, things can get pretty spicy out there. But keep it safe. I'll see you soon. Be back soon with some more on Joyrider TV. Thanks very much for watching and being a part of this great competition.